Believe in one another, and let others carry hope for you.
Welcome back, friends of the Grummels to Shinies and Luckydos. I'm Lhok, and today we'll be diving into one of the little-known lost pieces of WoW's history, the Frescoes of Aldermen. This is a prominent piece of wall art that's repeated throughout the Aldermen complex, and one that we feel might hold the clues to the very origins of Azeroth. So, let's get into it, shall we? We begin by entering into the Uldaman dungeon, and we don't have to go very far before we find the subject of today's video. This fresco has been in the game since vanilla, and has also been added as part of the Tomb of the Watchers area in Cataclysm. So let's break down what we see in the fresco. It's done in a Grecian-Roman style, which is often attributed to the Titans in WoW. You can see these influences throughout Uldaman, on the Watchers, urns, and the model buildings of the facility within the map room. But this particular piece seems to have been heavily inspired by a real-world piece of artwork right out of ancient Rome, the Ara Passus Augustae, also known as the Temple of Augustan Peace. This is the Telus Fresco. In this fresco is depicted three figures. In the center we have Telus, or Mother Earth, in the center holding two babies. The identities of the figures on either side aren't as clear, with different scholars offering many interpretations ranging from other goddesses to nymphs to representations of the elements of air and water. One thing is certain though, the similarities in design to the frescoes repeated throughout Uldaman are fairly easy to notice. Here we see a female titan holding two babies, and alongside her is a male titan holding what might be a snake or a serpent of some kind. Some of the details are hard to make out on the fresco, but it seems like the male titan's foot is going into a volcano and there appears to be a golden dinosaur on the female's foot. This part of the fresco reminded me of Zuldazar and the city of Dazal'Alor. During primordial Azeroth, these cities of the trolls were built on volcanoes and mountaintops where the trolls found their connection to the lowest, the strongest. Within the city today, visitors can also see trolls utilizing dinosaurs as beasts of burden and pets. The gold dust scattered throughout the fresco could also represent volcanic ash, tying into the themes of Mother Nature and fertility. Next is the sheep and the cow. They sit underneath the female titan, much as they do in the Ara Passus fresco. In the Ara Passus fresco, it is thought that they symbolize the central figure's connection to the earth. This would mean that the central figure could be a representation of the Earth Mother and of Azeroth herself. There were many jokes back in Classic that the cow represented the Tauren, and perhaps these jokes aren't too far off, as the Taurens do have a strong connection to the Earth and the Earth Mother, and as of Legion, a golden statue of what appears to be a pregnant Tauren priestess can be found in Karazhan during certain artifact weapon questlines. This is actually quite an interesting detail in this context, as ancient Romans performed rituals that involved the sacrifice of pregnant cattle in exchange for good harvests. In fact, the Aras Passus temple housed one of these sacrificial altars, and also depicts several other frescoes within it of cows being led to be sacrificed. Now, onto the central female titan. She's depicted sitting down holding two infant children. When I first saw this image back in vanilla, it made me think of another goddess in ancient mythos. Leto was the ancient Greek goddess of motherhood and the mother of twins Artemis and Apollo, who became the personifications of the moon and sun respectively. We can see more links to this in Tauren culture, where they tell stories of how the Earth Mother ripped out her eyes and cast them into the sky, where they became Anshe and Musha, or the sun and the moon, destined to chase one another with every turning of the world. I have a theory though that the two children could potentially represent the trolls and the Tauren, two of Azeroth's oldest races, and after some digging around in the game files, there were some models of statues belonging to Uldaman of both Tauren and trolls, placing them next to other primordial races such as the Trogs and various giants, but these never made it into the live game, so it's all up for interpretation. So, what about the third figure? Well, we can clearly see what looks like a foot coming from the side of the fresco, but who does this foot belong to? For the answer, we need to head over to Ironbrand's excavation in Loch Modan, where we can see a figure that's missing a foot sitting atop a swan, much like the figure from the Arathi fresco. In fact, there's another fresco that the Ironbrand's excavation site, the ruins of Uldaman, and the Arathi Augustus all have in common, and that's this rendition of the March of the Senate. This leads me to believe that the Alderman complex stretches far beyond what we're able to explore in-game. But we'll save that to discuss for another time. So, what did you think about the comparison between the Arathi Augustae and the frescoes in Uldaman? Let us know what you think about it in the comments, because we'd love to hear any speculations and thoughts on the frescoes and what you think about the potential implications could be on the story in WoW. We also have a Twitch, Twitter, and Discord channel in which we chat in, discussing lore, and just generally hanging out. Links can be found in the description box below. Thanks for watching Shinies and Luckydos. Farewell, friends the Grummels. May your feet find good trails.